approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Your taxes are overdue, but you still haven't filed. Maybe you haven't filed for years. What started out as one mistake has now turned into a major issue, but now it's overwhelming. Don't wait any longer. Call Greg Severson of the CPA firm of Cordano, Severson and Associates. You've heard about Greg Severson for years and how he's helped many other people and businesses deal with the IRS, from fixing past errors to reducing your back taxes to working out reasonable payment plans. Whatever your issue is with the IRS, Greg has the experience and the success to help you or your business get through this. Don't let the problem get any worse. Give yourself some peace of mind and call Greg Severson today. Call the firm that's provided quality tax advice for over 50 years right here in the Will County area. 815-744-1900. That's 815-744-1900. Cordano, Severson and Associates, a firm that you can trust and your business can afford. Co-founder and proud member of the Will Buy Local Alliance.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
And good evening and welcome. Believe it or not, it is the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the great traffic around the greater Will County area. It's been spectacular today. It took me about 2 hours to get from Shanahan north. So if you're going north, anywhere near 55 around there, forget it. It's a nightmare.
Road too.
Yeah, Laraway Road, terrible, everything terrible. But hey, it's a usual day here in lovely Will County. Thanks for joining us, Coach Joe and I, and Phil Cantu. We'll be here the next 2 hours. Whole lot to talk about. It is IHSA football time, Joe. There is no doubt about it. Week 9 games, some pivotal Week 9 games, certainly here in the Joliet area as well as statewide. Joe, we're going to have playoffs, and we are very excited to share our playoff pairing news with you. We'll do that in a moment. But, Joe, before we begin, this edition and every edition of Pigskin Preview brought to you by our State Farm agents, Kevin Malloy in New Lenox and John Wright in Joliet. Like a good neighbor, Joe.
State Farm is there.
Full guest list. We are open phones for the first 2 segments. So if you want to get in here, if you've got questions, if you've got problems, Joe can help you with the problems.
Sure.
We would love to hear from you. 815-254-7300. Hello to everybody watching us on YouTube Live. We will take your DMs as well. I forgot to tweet that out. We will do it right now. So there you go. I just welcomed your comments. You can DM us during the show. And if we like it, Joe, who knows? Might even use it.
That's right.
All right, Joe, the broadcast schedule is as follows. Friday Night Lights. Is there a Friday Night Lights?
Yes.
Okay. There will be a Friday Night Lights tomorrow,
Friday,
6:05.
A full Friday Night Lights.
6:05. The mayor, Scott Slocum, hosting your Friday Night Lights. Wow. Big time coming in.
Yes.
6:05. Is it a 7 or a 7:30 kick?
7:30.
Okay, 7:30 kick. So Scott's going to have to stretch. I hope he's ready for it.
Yes.
Got to be ready for it. It's a demanding hour and a half show. Bennett at Providence Catholic. Joe, it's win or go home.
Yes, it is. We'll talk more about that game later.
And then Saturday, bonus football.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It is the annual. Well, I get. Can we say annual?
No, because we haven't done it for a couple
I know.
Days.
All right. Well, we're bringing back
the
1340 WJOL playoff preview playoff preview show. God, dummy. What are you thinking? We will be here when the brackets come out. We go on the air at 7:30. We will bring you the brackets live. We will bring you, Joe, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 10, but every area coach's response and reaction to their draw in the field. So we will have that for you. Again, we are going to have a stone groove time, Joe. I'm telling you right now. We're going to have food in the studio, and we're going to have an awfully good time. I will be here, Joe. The only place you can find me playoff pairing night, besides at my house, is right here
Yes.
at 1340 WJOL. Joe will be here. Dewey will be here. Phil will be here. We already know there's a couple of people that are going to crash this thing, so
Yep.
we are looking forward to having a great time. If you're watching us on YouTube Live, you can watch us all night long, and we'll be here for you. So we're looking forward to that and having a good time Saturday night. Again, it's the biggest night of the year in high school football. There is no doubt about it, and we will celebrate it with you, our wonderful listeners and viewers, and glad to be here with you tonight. Full guest list, Dave Woodburn from Lincoln Way Central, Alan Thorson from Morris, Steve Susie the Seuss at 7:25, and Tyler Plants will close out the show. And again, big ball game for him.
Yes.
Joe, as far as the playoff picture in the area, I know you have done quite a bit of work on this, and certainly much appreciated. How many teams are we down to now?
Well, we got 11 in for sure.
Yep.
And then there's 4 teams that are 4-4. Providence, Lamont, who's playing TF North.
Yes, by the way,
Mighty Meteor.
our guy Matt Now's out there, so I told Matt to make sure he keeps those updates coming. We'll have scoring updates to that. Obviously, a huge game for Lamont, Joe. They have to win to get in.
Right. TF North is already in. Plainfield Central, another big game for them.
Hang on, Joe. What was that? Say that one more time.
Plainfield Central.
No, before that. Who's it?
Meteors.
Who's in?
TF North Meteors.
What about them?
Stay north.
What else? They're in?
Yeah, they're in.
I can't hear that
Oh,
enough.
they're in, Edge. They're
Can't hear that enough,
for the
Joe.
first time since
Forever.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Pignatello has done a great job.
So again, we will have updates of that, and again, lots to get to for sure. Joe, fill us in your game Friday.
Yes, I was at Minooka for Minooka and Oswego. The play of the game, in my opinion, well, there was both kind of two plays.
Was the heater on?
No, but it was comfortable. in
No.
there. It was comfortable in there.
You know what? We're gonna have to set that Harding guy.
I wanted Dewey to
aside.
go out and squeegee the glass in the second half, but he wouldn't do it.
They didn't bring any fresh. Just kidding.
It was a miserable night in Minooka, believe me.
It was a miserable night pretty much everywhere
Yes.
Friday.
To me, the play of the game was the coin toss. Matt Harding
Yeah.
won the toss.
Yeah.
They chose to take the kickoff before the weather really got bad, which it did. And they took the opening kickoff and went down and scored. And scored in their first possession to go up 7-0. Then in the middle of the first quarter, we had a sack from the blind side by Oswego, and there was a 45-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. And that tied the game up. And then toward the end of the first half, Oswego kicked a field goal. The second half was basically field position. Another key spot in the game was Minooka was punting on their own 45-yard line, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
They got it down to within 2 inches of the goal line. They had forced Oswego to punt. It gave the opportunity for Mr. Cole Spivey to kick a 37-yard field goal with 1:14 to go in the third quarter. And then Minooka put a little drive together in the fourth quarter, and Spivey kicked a 29-yard field goal for the 13-10 win.
Again, not a big surprise. I mean, Minooka's kind of offensively struggled a little bit at times. Then you got the weather conditions mixed in. The score really didn't surprise me
But
at all.
defensively, they can hang with anybody.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
Yeah.
They can hang with anybody.
I was up in Barrington. I saw Barrington and Palatine Friday night, and I think we lucked out with the weather. We had it better than you had it down here. You had a lot more rain than we had. By the way, Lamont's up 6-0 first quarter over TF North.
Okay.
Thanks to Matt.
Thanks,
Now
Matt.
for that. So again, 815-254-7300 if you want to join us. Joe, Barrington's very good. Barrington it's a better team they've had in a while.
You know, I was surprised with the score
Very good offense.
because I saw Palatine last year at Minooka,
Yeah.
and they had a lot of guys coming back, and I know
Yep.
they're very good also.
They are, but this Barrington offense, Dylan Fitzpatrick, the running back's very good. He's a 3-year starter, junior quarterback, just very, very solid, very, very good. And Nick Piepert's his name, and they're going to beat some teams. Again, we'll get into it. Depends on the seeding, obviously. We'll get after it, but yeah, they're very good. And then Saturday, God, what did I do Saturday? Who did I go see? Oh, I went and saw Lions in York, and that game was on TV, which I knew going in. Might have been more but miserable Saturday during the day, actually, than it was Friday.
Really?
It was colder Saturday.
Okay.
And more drizzly and just
windy, or a little bit windy.
Yeah, just kind of annoying, but oh well, we survived.
Yes.
The good news is weather-wise, we look okay this weekend. Everything I've seen, I don't think there's much rain in the
If
forecast.
it's going to rain tomorrow, it might rain tomorrow.
Maybe
morning.
tomorrow early, yeah. This is what I've seen, and that's fine with me. So hopefully we get through week 9 without any major weather issues. But again, always something you need to check this time of year. We will go out to the phone lines. Is that Bob? Hello, Bob.
What's up, guys?
Well, I don't know if you heard our plans, but we will be here with you Saturday night.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. You know, again, I bailed for a few years to go do TV, and believe me, I enjoyed it. And hopefully someday I'll get a chance to do it again. But in the meantime, Bob, there's no other place I'd rather be than here with these knuckleheads doing the playoff pairing show.
That's right.
Well, we know them all, at least.
Yeah, we know them all.
Yep. It's a big game for you guys. This is a great week 9 test against St. Ignatius.
I heard they had a pretty decent quarterback.
They do. They've got an All-American O-line, D-line, and Justin Scott. And you know, this was a younger team that you know, I think a lot of people, I think Coach Matt Miller as well would have told you he probably wasn't too sure what he was getting early in the year. But again, it's a program, guys, that I think, Joe, St. Ignatius is here to stay. I think they finally have found their niche, and they've done a nice job. And again, what are they doing differently? They're running triple option. They're doing a lot of stuff you do when you're trying to build up a team, and you might not have the terrific line play right away, so you can kind of get away with the options sometimes that'll help you out. And they're doing a great job.
Like 2 or 3 years ago, I think, Bob, they played St. Iggy at the stadium, and Iggy gave them all they could handle.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost like a mirror image of Joliet Catholic running the football. And
that's exactly what you told me when I talked to you that night.
yeah,
You said
it was just
like
a mirror image, just getting 3 or 4 yards at a crack and keeping the ball away from the Hilltoppers. Although the Hilltoppers did manage to win the game, but it was really close.
Should be a good game then.
It should be. Yes, it should. And again, a win for the Hilltoppers. Better 7-2 than 6-3, Bob.
Could have been 8-1. Tell you the truth.
Well, couple either way could have gone 9-0 also. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, Bob, is it a chilly night tomorrow?
Nah, it's too
Not yet. All right.
Not yet.
All right. Just
Farmers
checking.
Pork chops.
All right.
All right.
It's always good to know the menu, Bob.
Yes.
Alrighty. Have a good one.
All right.
You
take
too,
care of
pal.
yourself,
Hey,
Bob.
Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night,
7:30.
Bob.
Yeah. Hey, you going to Mark Carmel game in the afternoon? Ain't that an afternoon game?
I have not written that off yet. That's a possibility, but that is on TV, by the way.
Yeah. Who's going to win that one, you think?
I'm going with Mount
Evening
Carmel.
So am I.
I like the Caravan.
Did Loyola get a coach?
I'm sorry?
Did Loyola get a new coach?
Yes. Longtime assistant. There's been no issue with transition whatsoever. They're as good as
They're
they've
still
been.
good, but
Mount
Mount Carmel's better.
A little bit better.
Yep.
Alrighty.
All right, Bob.
All right, take
Have
it
a good
easy,
night.
buddy.
Joe, the phone lines are heating up. We're going to go to Greg. Hello, Greg.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Well,
Good.
Greg, we knew that you were wondering what you're going to do Saturday night, so I decided to give up my television career to come back to be here with you Saturday night. How does that sound?
Oh, that sounds great. I was glad to hear that you're going to have a show. I'll be listening.
Yeah, we'll same setup. If you're watching us online on YouTube, we'll stream it live from the studio, and we'll have the
Great.
brackets. And again, we're going to have pretty much not pretty much. We're going to have every area coach in the playoffs on, so we'll get reaction and we'll take your calls and DMs and everything else. So yeah, we'll have a fun time. Start at 7:30, probably go till 10 or until the church service starts here on the station Sunday morning.
Okay, I'll be listening.
Anything on your mind tonight, friend?
Well, I've had a week to ruminate over this Duquesne Valley Southwest Suburban.
Please,
Okay.
sir. Please, sir. Illuminate us.
Okay, here we go. I'm with them on the blue with East, HF, Lockport, Nequa, and Naperville North.
Okay.
But I think they really screwed up the other two. And my suggestion would be, okay, Central and West, the Lincoln Way should not be separated. They should be together. Okay.
Yeah.
And Bradley too. Bradley should be with those three.
Well, some
And
might
then
argue.
got,
Some might argue Bradley shouldn't be in it at all. But
well, you know, yeah, they're a long ways away, but they have a good program.
they do.
And you know, yeah, you know,
Yep.
they're good. They're fun to watch. I saw them cheer against Lincoln Way East, and I was impressed with them. But okay, and I like Naperville Central, and I like Waubonsie over on that side. Okay, in the other division, Andrew and Sandburg belong together. Those are the two and Stagg.
Yeah.
Those are the three northernmost teams of the Southwest Suburban.
Well, see, the one
And then you
thing.
put in there-
The one thing,
Go ahead.
Greg, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. But the one thing I wanted to add, and this is already being talked about, that these schools also have 2 non-conference games. And some of them are already talking about getting those rivalry games lined up as a non-conference game. So they very well still could happen.
Okay.
So that helps
But
a little.
I'm just saying, you know, well, that would be good. That would be good too. But I still like the idea of Andrew, Sandberg, and Stagg staying together with Matea and DeKalb, the two, you know, the two orphans.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, you know, over on the other side, West and Central, they're both good now. I don't want to see that broken up if possibly can stay together. You know, and Bradley, like I say, I like their program, and Naperville Central's good, and so is Waubonsie. So that would be a nice conference. Anyway, that's my thought on that.
Sounds great. Greg, join us Saturday night. Make sure you're with us.
Oh, I'll be there.
All right, Greg. Thanks, pal.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Greg drops off. We're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we'll have open phones again next segment. So Joe and I will start breaking down some of the area games in Week 9. And you want to preview a little playoff talk? We can do that too. This is the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. But right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Hi, this is State Farm Agent John Wright. Every team knows the two-point play can be a winning move. That's why I can help you go for 2 by combining your home and auto insurance. It's a great call that saves you time and money. So go for the win and score savings by combining your home and auto with me, State Farm Agent John Wright. It's just another way we're here to help life go right. Call me, John Wright, at 815-725-5052 today.
Got a problem with your car? Here's a chance to talk to the experts. Listen in this Thursday at 9:35 to Car Talk with the experts from the service department at Darcy Buick GMC. Call in with your questions about any vehicle and get honest, experienced answers about your car. Plus, get helpful tips for keeping your car in great shape for every season. Listen to Car Talk this Thursday at 9:35 a.m. Brought to you by Darcy Buick GMC on Essington Road in Joliet and at darcymotors.com. Right here at 1340 WJOL. Will County's News Talk Sports.
They're back.
What? Caramel apples are back at Dan's Homemade Candies?
They are indeed.
You mean that mouth-watering, sweet, delicious, hand-dipped fresh caramel apple from Dan's Homemade Candies? They're there? Like right now?
Yep, all the varieties of caramel apples that start with a crisp, juicy, farm fresh apple dipped in Dan's smooth, creamy homemade caramel made fresh daily right there in the store.
Let's go! Should I get the original caramel, chocolate covered, or with nuts? or both?
I'm going for the dark chocolate in the biggest, fattest caramel dripping apple you've ever seen.
Dan's Homemade Candies, here we come.
Dan's Homemade Candies are only here for a limited time at 1003 Plainfield Road in Joliet and in downtown Joliet at 229 East Cass Street. Online at danshomemadecandies.com.
The best football in the state plays right here on 1340 WJOL and WJOL.com.
And welcome back. It is the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM along with the coach, Joe Rodriguero, Phil Cantu. A little throwback Thursday here, if you will. Glad to have Phil back in the seat. And boy, Phil's going to have a busy couple of days here, Joe.
3 days in a row now.
Telling you. Yeah, working him like a dog, but it's all right. He deserves it. Trust me. Again, appreciate everybody listening and watching online. And again, we'll be here tonight. We will be here, obviously, tomorrow for the game of the week. Joe will be on the air with the one and only Nick Jacobs.
Yes. Yeah.
Are we getting live update baseball scores tomorrow night as well, or no?
Sure, I guess.
I'm sure we will. We'll read them off. Joe will.
Yeah.
We'll leave that up to you, Joe. That'd be your responsibility.
All right.
815-254-7300. Would love to hear from you. Anything you got on your mind, any problems? Joe's here for your problems. He's like Lucy in the Charlie Brown. You got your little desk set up there with the 5-cent psychiatrist.
Edge, I think we should go over the Big Five.
Why?
We haven't done that yet.
We got one more week, and then does it really matter? Not really. All right. The Week 9 WJOL EDGYTIM.com Big Five poll. Coach Joe is as follows.
Because we have a new member in our top 5.
That's true.
Joliet West, the
Yep.
Tigers at number 5.
Yeah. How about that?
Yes. Yes. Lincoln Way Central 4, Joliet Catholic 3, Morris 2, and Lincoln Way East 1.
That is the WJOL EDGYTIM.com Big Five poll. You can hear that every Monday morning with Scott Slocum in the morning. Gentlemen, back out to the phone lines. We heard from one Bob. It's time to hear from the other Bob.
The other Bob.
Hello, other Bob.
Hello, fellas. How you doing?
Doing good.
Are we pre-gaming yet for Saturday or what?
Saturday, I'm ready.
You're always ready, Bob.
Yeah, we're pretty ready too. So I don't know if you heard the good news, but we will be here Saturday night. We will be doing a playoff pairing show starting at 7:30. So we'll be here from 7:30 probably till about 10 o'clock, or like I told Joe, probably just before the Sunday church service comes on the air.
Service.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, so by all means, give us a listen, give us a watch on YouTube, and can't wait. Excited for it.
Yes.
Quick things though before I get into it.
Yeah.
Joe, I'd like to ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
Number one, do you know who the Hilltoppers are playing tomorrow?
Yeah, St. Ignatius.
I was asking Joe.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, Bob? I've got that schedule on my wall in my basement. So every time I go downstairs to watch the baseball games, I check to see where the Hilltoppers are playing.
But if he was a really good friend, and if I would have gotten one, I'd probably have it here every week. But what do I know?
It's up on the wall.
Talk about the success of Joliet West. I'm real happy.
How about it?
Yes.
How about it? By the way, Joe, I'm 0 for the season on Bears Coach of the Week. I just thought I'd mention that since I nominated Dan Tito this week. And again, another quality coach that does not win the award.
I don't know what they're doing up there. Well, we know what they're not doing up there, and that's winning football games.
Yeah, Bob. I mean, let's face it. We all know you're a diehard JCA fan, and God love you, and you know, but you got to be happy for Joliet West. I mean, it's a great story. Dan's done a terrific job. Joe, they can wind up 8-1 and getting in a home playoff game. That is amazing.
It will. Yes.
That is amazing. Going into the playoffs, sir, I'll ask you a question. What's your concern with your Hilltoppers going in?
The offense seems to be coming around.
Yep.
They're spreading the ball around a little better. They're showing a little bit more the last few games. It's just injuries at this point.
Yeah.
I was going to say health. Health is the big question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how deep they are, but The 11 they're putting out there on both sides of the ball seem to be coming together pretty well.
Yeah, you just obviously there's nothing you can really control. You just got to keep your fingers crossed, Joe, and
Yes.
and hope you come out of it healthy for sure.
But they are getting healthier, I believe, Bob.
Do we know anything about the offensive lineman who's out?
Joe?
No, I do not, Bob. I haven't really talked to Jaws over the last couple weeks.
Okay.
By the way, gentlemen, breaking news, according to our one of our favorite viewers, Weather on the Go, the weather here says A-OK for Friday night and Saturday,
Yes,
so
we'll be good.
we're good. We should be clear, no precipitation. So carry on, gentlemen.
One other quick little idea or question, I guess would be the way to phrase it. If the Hilltoppers are fortunate enough to win tomorrow night, which, by the way, I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, it'll be fast.
It'll be.
Really looking forward to seeing them play. At 7-2, again, if they're fortunate enough to win, do you see a home game or you see them on the road?
I got to look. Joe, you got their points there?
Yes, I do. Joliet Catholic right now has 31 points. So they could be on the road if they go 7-2 the first game.
Yeah. But other Bob, do you really want to be at home first round? I don't.
Only if I can get 4 at home.
I'd rather go on the road and knock out that road game first. You're almost guaranteed a home game round 2.
I would hope so.
Yeah. By all means, put me on the road.
It looks like the Hilltoppers are probably heading south. Is that pretty well set?
Yeah, that seems to be consensus. The Seuss man cometh 7:25, so we'll throw that at him as well.
Sounds good. Well, guys, thanks for the great job all year, and looking forward to Saturday night.
Yep. Thanks.
All right, Bob.
Thank
Thank you. Take care of yourself.
All right, other Bob drops off, and again, we appreciate. Thank you, Weather on the Go, for the weather update. And Matt, now, Joe, I don't know if you saw that or not. 6-0 Lamont over TF North after first quarter. The Meteors are in the red zone.
Steve Susi just said, Bob, the other Bob, that he has the Hilltoppers at home.
Yep. So there you go.
And I want to shout out to Captain, my buddy from Manuka.
Oh, he come over and say hi to you?
Well, no, I got him on the DM.
All right. I thought maybe he was
I'm
social.
hoping he would come up to the press because it was miserable.
Yeah. By the way, you knuckleheads that are watching and listening, you come over and say hi to us if we're at a game. We don't bite. We really don't.
Even during the game, it doesn't bother me any.
Pull Joe out of the booth and talk to him. He's got nothing else to do. Dewey will just ramble. It's fine.
Our good friend and one of my best friends, Gary Seymour, was at the game for a little while.
There you go. Wow. Celebrities everywhere in Manuka last Friday night. Unbelievable. No heat in the press box, but celebrities.
Okay. I don't, it was fine.
Wait till I talk to that Harding guy. We'll get things straightened out
Leave
there.
that poor guy alone.
I'm gonna be out there with my laptop pre-programming their jumbotron.
I'll tell you one thing right now. The EDGYTIM is, like I told you Friday night, is fantastic.
I'm gonna hack that bad boy. We'll see how many images we put up there. Kidding. I'm kidding. 815, you might not think so. 815-254-7300. Love to hear from you. We're here talking football for the next hour and a half or so, and fire away. Love to hear it. Joe, let's go through the games around the area this week. Ignatius at Joliet Catholic, like I said, Joe, both going to run the ball. Could be a very quick game tomorrow night.
I'm going to go, if they're going to run the football against Joliet Catholic, I'm going to take the defensive line for Joliet Catholic over that off. I know they got a Division I lineman, but they got Mr. Johnson on that defensive line with a couple other boys. I'm taking the Hilltoppers.
You know, in the probably the most underrated part of that defense is the secondary.
Yes.
It's a very good secondary.
And they had a couple guys hurt over the last couple weeks. I think they're starting to come back, though.
There you go.
So that'll be even better.
Game of the week, Bennett at Providence Catholic, as we mentioned. Bennett, generally, they're 5-3, but 4-4 Providence, Joe. We will have, by the way, Tyler Plants on at 7:45. Your thoughts?
I got a chance this week to look at some tape of Bennett. And I'll make a comment to Tyler later on tonight. But if Providence, no turnovers or no kind of crazy type penalties, Providence wins here.
Good.
That's my opinion. Good. They're just, Bennett is good, but they're not Providence good in my opinion when Providence stays away from those two things.
Joe, Reed Custer, the Comets on the road at Lyle.
I'm going to go with Reed Custer here to have them finish up actually 4-5, which I think after
it's a good recovery.
I was going to say after the tremendous 2 years they've had, Coach Johnston and with that senior class and coming back and
they're on the right path. I don't think there's any question.
They've got some players.
You talk to people. You talk to people at around the area, and they'll tell you the same thing. They like the fact that lower numbers are good. Number overall is good, and they're definitely on the right path. So we'll hope they pull out a win and finish strong there. Joe, Coal City at Mantino.
I'm picking the Kohlers. Get them on the roll again.
Mantino 4-4. They need a win to get in, Joe.
Yeah, I know you're playing at Mantino, but I'm looking at some of the different scores of like what Wilmington did and what Piatone did, and I just think the Kohlers are a little bit better than Mantino.
Will there be a Coach Tully sighting, the Tone, at Herscher? Will we hear from him Saturday evening, Joe?
I hope so, because they're going to
be We might.
They're in. They're in already, but they'll win. They'll be 6-3 going into the tournament.
Wilmington, the Wildcats finish up their victory lap here, going for 8-1. They are on the road at Streeter. Joe, where is Streeter located? Does anyone know where Streeter is? 815-254-7300. Have you actually ever been to Streeter? Anybody?
Yes, I have when I was in grade school.
You sure it was Streeter? You were young.
No, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. For a basketball game.
All right. We'll see.
I'm picking the Wildcats.
Okay. Very good. Again, going around the area, Joe, we will talk to Alan Thorson in the 7:00 hour. Huge ball game out in Morris. And I mean huge. Sycamore at Morris, Joe Radiguero.
I'm picking Morris.
Okay.
I just, again, the schedule that Morris has played, I don't know Sycamore's schedule. And I know they're undefeated. So we have 2 undefeated teams going there. But would prove my point as far as Allen goes and Coach Thornton and the Morris football team when they humbled Richmond Burton.
It was a big game for sure. That was an eye-opener. There's no doubt about it.
That's why I'm picking them.
Game ongoing right now. Lamont leading TF North 6-0. End of first quarter. We're waiting for a score update. We'll get one soon, I'm sure. Must win for Lamont, Joe.
Yeah, I'm picking them to win over your alma mater because they have to win. They have a lot of injury. Lamont has
Joe, it's Lamont. We have to win.
That's what I said. We have to win.
No, I mean TF North has to win. Okay.
I love both coaches.
We're gonna beat Lamont, and then we're looking for Coy. We want to beat him next. So, no, I even told Willie. I go, look, Willie. I hate to tell you, I'm a TF North alum, and I'm pulling for you tonight.
Yeah. So am I.
I won't admit that under oath, but Joe, arguably one of the best stories in the entire area this year. Joliet West on the road at Plainfield Central. The Wildcats must win to get in. But Joliet West designed an 8-1 regular season and basically a guaranteed home game in the first round.
Yeah, both teams have a lot to play for. And I know Plainfield Central is on a 3-game winning streak. And basically this is for the conference championship. And Plainfield Central wins, they're in. But I'm picking Joliet West here. I think too much talent.
Joe, Plainfield South at Joliet Central. Can the Steel Dudes get one here?
As I said, the last few weeks, they played very tough for a half. The numbers just absolutely kill them. And I love 2 of their, the one running back and the one guy that Christian Smith, I believe his name is, plays all over the field. But I'm gonna have to go with Plainfield South here.
Talking about finishing strong, Romeoville finally gets that first win, so they get the 0 off the record. So congrats on that. They're on the road at Plainfield East, and Joe, Plainfield East is going to be at home in the playoffs, but they've had a nice bounce back here in the second half. They're a young team.
Right, I'm picking them to win. If they win, they go 4-5.
Yep.
And they lost, I think, their first 3 games or 4 games.
Right, and you got Harvey Jackson, a first-year head coach. You're getting a feel now for what you got in the program, and I see them doing nothing but building up from here.
Yes.
Couple years, Joe. I'm telling you, they're gonna end up being a monster out there.
Yes.
They definitely will. Manuka on the road at West Aurora. And again, Joe, we asked the questions, what is this West Aurora team? And if you look at some of the scores here, it's, they've struggled against the better teams in the conference still. maybe struggle's not the right word, but they still haven't really beaten the better teams in the West.
Right. Minooka scores 17 points here. They win.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fair.
I just, that's the magic number, 17 and over to win that game, which their defense, very solid. The offense doesn't turn the ball over to create opportunities for West Aurora's offense. To me, this is a no-brainer.
By the way, Minooka fans, go to that game. West Aurora is a really good place to see a game. I go out there every summer. Yeah, it's a nice facility for sure. Plainfield North, Joe, they're at 4-4. They're seeking a win, playing that crazy Yorkville team that more often than not, when they show up, they beat people.
Yeah, they're 5-3, so they made the playoffs. They struggled early, but again, Plainfield North struggles offensively. And I think Yorkville can put enough points on the board, even though Plainfield North has an outstanding defense, much like Minooka. So, but I'm picking Yorkville. Yes.
Yep. HF at Lockport, Joe. HF at 4-4. They need to win to get in. George is in at 5-3, but a big game for the Porters here in week 9.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Porters here playing at home. And as you said, Edge, 6-3 is better than 5-4 going into the playoffs.
All right.
Enough motivation.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we will go out to the phone lines and we'll be joined by another terrific story in this area this year, Dave Woodburn and Lincoln Way Central. You are listening to the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports.
It's time for the fall haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the fall haul at Northern Tool. Back up the truck for the season's biggest event and save on generators, power tools, trailers, and more. Shop in-store or at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Miller Lite presents your Chicago football game day headquarters, Champion Sports Bar in Plainfield. Catch all of the game day action this Sunday as Las Vegas invades Chicago. At Champions, you'll find a complimentary halftime buffet, $2.50 Miller Lite drafts, and $13 Miller Lite buckets. There's giveaways after the game and all the game day action on 9 flat screens throughout the bar. Champion Sports Bar, 2049 South Route 59 in Plainfield. Like them on Facebook. Celebrate responsibly.
Hey, Scott Slocum here. Have you heard? We're bringing back our radio stage production of It's a Wonderful Life at the magnificent Rialto Square Theater. Think 1940s live radio stage production, sound effects on stage, scripts falling, tons of fun as we retell this classic story with George, Mary, Mr. Potter, that's me, Clarence, and lots of crowd participation. That means you. All proceeds go right back to the Rialto Square Theater. Come have fun with us on Friday, December 8th. Tickets at Ticketmaster or in person at the Rialto box office.
988 is a confidential lifeline and available 24/7. If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide or facing a mental health or substance use crisis, help is just a call or text away. Life can throw us unexpected challenges, and sometimes it can make you feel overwhelmed. You are not alone. Help is here. Call or text 988 to be connected with a trained, compassionate crisis counselor who can help you navigate difficult times. This message is brought to you by the Illinois Department of Human Services.
Let's be honest, insurance rates have skyrocketed over the last 18 months and none of us are happy. This is State Farm Agent Kevin Malloy, and I feel the same pain you do when the bill comes in the mail. When times are at their worst, people are looking for someone they can trust. And with 5 consecutive years of being named the best of Will County in the insurance category, why not consider calling the Malloy Agency? 815-463-5800. Like a good neighbor, we are and will be there when you need us.
Your official home for Joliet and Will County sports is 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM, along with the coach, Joe Rodriguero and Phil Cantu back. Welcome to Throwback Thursday in the seat. Spinning the dials and lining up our guests. And Joe, very happy, very excited to bring in our next guest, or actually our first guest of the show. Just off to a tremendous start this year, and they are prepared. I know they're not overlooking their opponent this week because, let's face it, Joe, he really can overlook his opponent. He has a very tough game on the road at Bradley, but then after that, it's playoffs. And joining us is Dave Woodburn from Lincoln Way Central. And Coach, again, appreciate you taking time to join us. By Saturday night, you're going to be pretty sick of us, honestly.
I couldn't be. Thanks for having me.
Well, I tell you what, great to have you on board. And, you know, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you the obvious question anyway. Back in the coaches show, if I said to you, we're going to be talking to you week 9, you're going to be 7-1 going for 8 wins, would you believe me?
Of course. That was exactly how we drew it up.
and the loss to West, right? That was part of the plan?
Yeah. No, it's definitely not how we necessarily thought this was going to go, but man, we're working hard. We're having fun. We're just kind of doing what we do.
Dave, I'm talking a little bit defensively. In the one game that we did see when you guys played O'Fallon and Edgy and I driving home, I was very impressed with your.
Was that when I got pulled over? Or no, that was another time.
That was another time.
Sorry.
Yeah. We'll talk about that on Saturday night with you, Dave, about him getting pulled over on 55.
Perfect.
But your secondary to me did an excellent job against O'Fallon, not letting anybody really get behind them. And to me, that's a secondary that reads their keys well. And technique wise, I'm going to talk about that they know the things to do technically, not to let people get by them in their areas.
I tell you, man, they are playing really, really well together as a unit. They're paying attention to what we're telling them. And the recipe is don't let anybody throw the ball behind you.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
But you know how it is, Dave. It happens sometime. But that just impressed Edgy and I in that game against O'Fallon. I know it does happen every once in a while, but it doesn't happen, I don't think, too often.
Yeah, we try to make them go 80. Make them go 80 yards.
No doubt. Health-wise, how are you sitting right now going into week 9?
We're okay. We got one D lineman, Nolan Redican, banged up a little bit. We're hoping to get some good news on him. And he's iffy for tomorrow, but we think that we'll have him either in some capacity tomorrow, if not week 1. And then everyone else, we're actually pretty good.
Awesome.
Good.
So the one question I have, and I'm going to be asking all the coaches this tonight. Now, this is your first year as a head coach, so you get to set the tradition this year for playoff pairing night. So, do we have a plan in place? What besides picking up our phone call and talking to us? What are your plans for you and your?
I thought that was the only plan.
Well, it's the most
It's our
important
plan.
But you got anything planned for the guys Saturday?
The players will be on their own, and the coaches are going to come over here, and we're going to do our thing here, and that's really it. No, we're not getting together as a team. I don't think they want to be around us any more than they already are.
That's a great answer.
It's okay. Do we have a menu yet? Do we know what we're serving? Or
yeah, we're going with our staple: El Cortez, mini burritos, tacos.
Nice.
Good stuff. You guys coming?
No, we're here.
We're here at WJOL in Port. You better watch out for Coach Young though. They're that buffet. You gotta watch them.
I tell you want to talk about an unsung hero with that guy and his whole line, man. Those guys are
he's a great guy.
You might want to watch a couple of those guys. A couple of those guys look like they could be sneaking in like doggy bags to bring home afterwards. So
this is true. This is definitely true.
Bradley, very difficult opponent. I know they offer a lot of challenges. I know Coach Cole's son, Ethan Cole, the quarterback, has done a terrific job all year. What are the concerns facing Bradley?
They do a lot of formation, a lot of motion. and then a lot of the same plays out of those different looks. And he's just really smart and talented, and him and his dad work really well together. So you'll get the defense, and they'll change on you and try to call the best plays they can. So definitely that's a concern. They could run and pass or as balanced as a team as we played this year. So,
Dave, week 9 playoffs, what's one thing that you would like to see as a head coach get better on the team?
I think offensively we want to get a little more balanced offensively as far as throwing the football a little bit more, but we throw when we need to, and it's been successful. And then we had a rough game against Andrews defensively. They had us on our heels for a while, and that was in the run game. So wasn't our D line. It was some linebackers and reading some keys, and so we want to work on that this week. And I think that's what we need to hone in on defensively, and then offensively, it's that passing game a little bit.
How'd you handle the elements Friday, and was it good to get that game in and kind of under your belt?
Yeah, you know what? It actually wasn't what everyone predicted it was going to be.
That's how my game was too.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'm glad we got it in and got it done when we did. It was nice to go there and get a W against a really good team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Dave, again, appreciate you taking time. Wish you the best of luck tomorrow night. And again, we'll give you a ring once those pairings come out on Saturday night.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Good luck tomorrow, Dave.
Dave Woodburn joining us.
Have a good one.
You bet. You too. From Lincoln Way Central. And Joe, again, what just a terrific story. It really is.
Yeah, you love to see stories like this. I know Dan Tito, this is his second year, turned the program around, going to go for 8-1 tomorrow. This, with Dave's first year turning that program around after 2 years of not really doing well, coming out of the gate and, a big win right off the bat. And then we saw the O'Fallon game, and that made us believers that they were going to have a good year. But it shows what a new coach can do. And if he's if he's got things in line and prioritized,
it's amazing.
It is.
Absolutely
it really
amazing.
Is.
I want to thank everyone for watching and comments on YouTube Live. Scott Grant, one of the, we'll call it the football royalty families down in the greater Springfield area, if you will, wanting to know about Rochester and Sacred Heart, which, of course, you can't really call it the Leonard Bowl anymore because Ken obviously isn't head coach anymore. So it's Sacred Heart against Rochester at Sacred Heart. And want to know who I'm picking? Oh, I'm going Rochester pretty big. I think I think we've already seen. I was surprised to see Sacred Heart lose to Decatur Mac. Yeah. Well, you know what though? My friend at Decatur Mac, he finds a way to get it done every once in a while down there and pulls off that once every once in a while upset. And again, Coach Spates just does an amazing job with MacArthur, and so a big win for them. And again, I think Sacred Heart just got to give Coach Allison some time here. Yes. It's you're taking over a monster in year one.
I mean,
and it was a young team. That was we talk about that senior class at Sacred Heart quite a bit, and that was a multi-championship senior class that left that building. You don't replace that just like that.
No. And it's always hard to replace a legend, no matter if you're an assistant coach or a new coach coming in.
I took this over from Dewey. I know the feeling. So. All right, Joe, let's continue to break down games in the area. We left off with Home and Flossmoor at Lockport. Lincoln Way East at Bolingbrook, Joe. The Raiders are out of the playoffs. They're 3-5, but knowing Rob Zavonar, he's going to be prepared for anything out of the Raiders tomorrow night.
Yeah, this game to me isn't really the same without John there. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
And I know both coaches have had respect for each other, and I know Rob has most respect for the guys over at Bolingbrook, but they're just too tough. East is just too good.
Yeah, again, I'm sure Jonas Williams is going to come out slinging it like he has every week. Just Bolingbrook, the problem's been stopping people.
Yes.
They just, and again, style of play kind of might favor Bolingbrook a little bit because as we talk about with East, they're going to want to control the football and kill clock and run multiple plays. But again, is East going to give them the football back?
That's true.
And if they do, if they're getting quick scores, then you're in big trouble.
You know,
so
and I made the comment to Rob when we were out there for the Player of the Week, and I was talking to Joel Palisard. I said, you guys, we talk about Joliet Catholic and Wilmington keeping the ball away from the other team.
you and I talked about it.
Yes. You guys can do the same thing when you want to.
Yeah.
You can do exactly the same
Well,
thing.
I think that's exactly how that offense is designed.
Yes.
Ball control and probably running it. I don't know if I'm sure they do the percentages. I'll say 65, 70% of the time to running the ball.
Right.
And doing it incredibly efficiently.
Yeah. Limitations of your opponent.
Yep. No doubt about it. By the way, Joe, your number one fans watching tonight said to say hello.
I want to say hello to my man, Woody.
Yep. And by the way, they're already putting up oh my God, playoff pairing invitations with Woody's, putting them out there. It's got my address on there, so I don't think I'll share this on social media, but it's pretty funny.
Oh.
So again, Joe, we'll finish up the area schedule. We mentioned Lincoln Way Central at Bradley. Should be a really close game.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna pick Lincoln Way Central here.
Yeah.
Even though it's tough to play down there. Bradley's very good.
And then again, Andrew on the road at Lincoln Way West. And I think if you're the Warriors, you want to finish with a win here going into the playoffs.
And again, hopefully, health-wise, I know they had some guys kind of beat up and stuff like that. Their guys missing, so hopefully they're healthy for this game, and I'm going to pick them.
Shocked that I haven't seen. Now, maybe the Herald has done one, and I'm sure Seuss, if he's listening, he'll let us know. Haven't seen too many of the "What a Year for Lincoln Way" stories out there.
Yes,
in the media, I haven't really seen any. Lincoln Way East 8-0, Central 7-1, West 6-2. It's pretty damn outstanding, Joe.
Yes.
You haven't seen a whole lot about that, but again, we'll be talking about that and plenty more on our playoff pairing show Saturday night, 7:30, right here. Same station, same bat channel. So
that's right.
By all means. Joe, our friend Joe Curry over at the University of St. Francis got a nice win last week. They're now 5-2. They are on the road at 0-6 St. Ambrose. You know what that means, Joe, don't you? It means bad news. St. Ambrose coming.
Yes, I
Team
agree.
from Joliet with bad intentions coming out to Iowa.
Yes.
So
poor guys.
I know. So again, good luck to the Fighting Saints, and maybe they can run the table here, finish the year.
Yes,
would not be bad at all. By the way, Matt, now I haven't seen an update in a little while. Just saying, if you're out there, let us know the score of the Lamont TF North game.
Captain, ask a question here.
Yes.
Is Edgy still banned from Anoka? Yes.
Yes, 100%. I am.
Yes, he is.
Captain, I can't even drive down Ridge Road now. There's like roadblocks and
With his picture on
I get pulled over. I'm allowed to go. I'm allowed to go to Fitness Premier because I had a previous membership there when I go and work out. But other than that, I have to go in. I have to leave. I can't drive anywhere around the high school. Wait till I get a hold of that Harding guy Saturday.
12-6 TF North at half over Lamont from our guy Steve Susi.
See, now I can't get real happy about this yet. That's what we got the 7:00 break for. All right. So again, we're gonna wrap it up here in a minute, but don't go anywhere. We got to step aside for 7:00 ABC News, and then we'll come back for hour number 2. Hour number 2, we are going to have a full slate of guests. Alan Thorson from Morris, Joe. Another tremendous story in this area. They are undefeated at 8-0, looking to go 9-0. Steve Susi, whatever he does, he's undefeated when it comes to playoff predictions.
Smartest man I know
and
for
we'll talk
playoffs.
about Steve's personal guarantee of refunding your subscription if his playoff projections aren't 100% correct. So we'll get into that. And then also Tyler Plants from Providence. Joe, the game of the week, a huge game tomorrow night. Win and get in if you're the Celtics. They will host Bennett. You can hear that game right here on 1340, 7:30 kickoff. But before that, you got to go 6:05 with Scott Slocum on the Friday Night Drive program. All right, going to step aside. When we come back, we will have hour number 2. You are listening to the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports.
Exergen thermometers are proven to be more accurate than non-contact thermometers. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Clinical studies have proven that non-contact thermometers are inaccurate and can miss fevers. Accuracy matters. That's why the Exergen thermometer is trusted and used by medical professionals. Exergen thermometers are available at Walgreens and other participating retailers. Choose a trusted and accurate thermometer for personal use. Learn more about why accuracy matters at Exergen.com.
Let's be honest, insurance rates have skyrocketed over the last 18 months and none of us are happy. This is State Farm agent Kevin Malloy, and I feel the same pain you do when the bill comes in the mail. When times are at their worst, people are looking for someone they can trust. And with 5 consecutive years of being named the best of Will County in the insurance category, why not consider calling the Malloy Agency? 815-463-5800. Like a good name, we all be there when you need us.
Will County's News Talk Sports, 1340.
From ABC News. I'm Daria Albinger. At any time now, President Biden will address the nation during this rare Oval Office address. He'll ask for billions of dollars in military assistance for Israel and Ukraine. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
The president is going to outline what is at stake in the wars in Ukraine and in the Middle East. He is going to outline why these fights matter to Americans, why Americans should care. And he's going to argue that it is in our national security interest for the U.S. to continue supporting our allies in these fights.
More indications. Meanwhile, an Israeli ground incursion into Gaza is imminent. ABC's Inez de la Quatera in Jerusalem.
The Israeli prime minister, the Israeli defense minister, both visiting the front lines and delivering kind of speeches meant to lift spirits and get people ready for battle. The Israeli prime minister talking about how they were here to defend Israel, how they would be victorious.
The Pentagon reaffirming that Israel was not behind the deadly rocket strike on a hospital in Gaza. Spokesman Brigadier General Pat Ryder.
It is our assessment that Israel was not responsible for that explosion. We're continuing to assess that. Initial indications are that this was from an errant rocket that was launched by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad.
U.S. intelligence agencies believe between 100 and 300 people were killed in the explosion, likely the lower end of that range. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says inflation may be cooling off, but not quickly enough.
Before the pandemic and before the low inflation period, you would have had Fed rates in 4 or 5% or even higher frequently. Are we going back to that? I really don't know. I wouldn't want to speculate. I mean, my guess is it'll be somewhere in the middle.
But he told the Economic Club of New York that it could mean at least one more interest rate hike this year. Hundreds were evacuated from homes and schools were closed in parts of Scotland as much of Northern Europe braces for severe storms. You're listening to ABC News.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS
getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel at Optima?
Could be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Relief.com.
An entertainment organization feels this isn't the right time for an award show.
The MTV Europe Music Awards, or EMAs, won't happen this year. MTV saying in a statement that as the world watches the devastating events in Israel and Gaza, quote, "This does not feel like a moment for global celebration." The show will return November 2024. This year's EMAs were supposed to take place November 5th in Paris. The first time since 1995, the broadcast was set for the City of Light. Taylor Swift led the nominations, with performances expected by David Guetta, Sabrina Carpenter, and more. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
The Justice Department's reached a $9 million settlement with a Florida-based bank over allegations of redlining.
Redlining is the legal term for when a company refuses to offer credit to certain areas or people.
The Justice Department says Ameris Bank did just that in Jacksonville, Florida. Announcing a settlement Thursday, Attorney General Merrick Garland said the bank will pay $9 million
to expand access to credit opportunities for residents of Black and Hispanic neighborhoods in Jacksonville.
He said Ameris is also going to open its first full-service branch in a majority Black and Hispanic neighborhood. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Sotheby's calls it the most sought-after Scotch whiskey. A bottle of 96-year-old single malt from distiller Macallan is going up on auction next month. Estimated price, $1.4 million. This is ABC News.
As a roofer, I've got a million things to do, and that's a million things that need to be done right. That's why I partner with Beacon. The team at Beacon makes sure my materials are delivered accurately and on time. And the Beacon Pro Plus app makes ordering the brands I depend on, like Certainty Landmark Pro, easier than ever. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through November, purchase Certainty through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $750. Beacon, always building.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Gifts to places like Morningstar Mission go up during the holidays, which is great. But Thanksgiving isn't until next month, and men, women, and children living on the streets of Joliet and Will County are hungry now.
To miss a week and a half to 2 weeks of food is horrible. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. Not only that, like knowing that you might have to go to a dumpster or some other place that people are throwing out food, just mentally that brings you down even more.
And they're quickly running out of hope.
I was getting to the point where I thought that was it. I'm going to go ahead and just lay here and die.
It's never too early to give life-saving meals, shelter, care, and hope to our homeless neighbors in Joliet. And each life-changing meal is possible with your gift of just $2.48.
That first meal, the sensation in my body was like, whoa, wow, there is hope.
Don't wait until the holidays. Give today at MorningstarMission.org. That's MorningstarMission.org.
For all the scores, from football to basketball to baseball, it's WJOLSports.com.
Wait, we do other sports here? Really?
Not now.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Pigskin Preview. Only one sport heard here during this time of year.
That's
Welcome
right.
aboard. Tim here along with the coach, Joe Radiguero, and this is Pigskin Preview on 1340 WJOL. This edition and every edition of Pigskin Preview brought to you by our State Farm agents, John Wright in Joliet and Kevin Malloy in New Lenox, like a good neighbor, Joe.
State Farm is there.
And again, our broadcast schedule is as follows. Tomorrow evening, 6:05, Friday Night Lights. Scott Slocum with a special host appearance for Friday Night Lights tomorrow. So definitely give that a listen. 10:30 kickoff from the Emerald Isle. It is a must-win situation for the Providence Celtics. They host Bennett again, 7:30 kickoff. You can hear that game right here on 1340 WJOL, WJOL.com. And I highly recommend the Odyssey app for WJOL. That's kind of where I'm listening every week. And yeah, for sure, give that out. And then, Joe, it doesn't get any better than this. Saturday night, right here, 7:30. Playoff pairing show. We'll have the pairings when they're released live. Joe will be here. Dewey will be here. Phil will be here. I will be here. The only place you can find me, besides my house during the day, maybe at Loyola, will be right here Saturday night for the playoff pairing. So by all means, busy second hour. We're going to have Alan Thorson here from Morris in a second. Steve Susie along with Tyler Plant. Joe, let's bring in the coach. Yes. Alan Thorson joining us from Morris. And Coach, congratulations. You made it to week 9, a game that I think you, myself, and a lot of other people pointed towards. And here it is, you and Sycamore.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Good getting to talk to you guys again. And yeah, this was definitely one we've had circled and we're ready for, and it's finally here, and now it's time to play the game.
You know, it's really strange. I mean, your conference journey is the best way I can describe it. You know, you guys have been all over the place, but it seems like Sycamore has been kind of a pal, a tag along pal. They kind of have come with you on some of these stops, and you know, despite all the moving around in different conferences, you guys have built up a nice kind of rivalry here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, obviously it's Sycamore week, but just thinking about, I was kind of thinking today about just the different conferences we've been in, the different teams that have kind of been our rivals over the years. Manuka, Oswego in the old SPC days. But obviously, I think my time here as head coach, Sycamore has by far been that rivalry team, that team that we've always had to, kind of match up against, battle for the conference title. So, yeah, I think that's kind of become the big rival. And you're seeing it in other sports as well, but obviously football is the big one.
Well, there's just a ton of similarities. I mean, Joe Ryan does a tremendous job. He's a veteran coach. They're a well-coached team. They're physical. They look to run the ball. They're just going to come right at you. And it's, again, you got you two guys, and then you throw Kaneland there and some others, and it's good, hard-nosed physical football. And again, as I mentioned, just from a program standpoint, I personally see a lot of similarities every year.
Oh, absolutely. And, and Coach Ryan and I, we've obviously, the rivalries there, but there's a lot of respect, I think, for each other. I think he's a great coach. Obviously, like you said, they have a great program. They're successful every year. And every time you're going to play them, they're going to give you their absolute best. So, that's what we've talked about all week with our guys is we have to match that, and we have to bring our absolute best if we want a chance to win this game. And, it was one of those games, obviously, last year we, dropped a couple, even though like good year, we dropped that Richmond-Burton game, and then we dropped the Sycamore game. Those were tough losses, and I think learning experiences for us as well. So this year we were able to avenge that Richmond-Burton loss, and this is one we've had circled, and we definitely would love a chance to get on the good side of this, but we know it's going to be tough. But it's obviously at home, and it's for the conference title. So it's everything you could ask for in a high school football game.
Alan, last week, another big win by you guys. And I saw in the paper, Jacob Schwartz, 159 yards and 3 touchdowns. And we've talked about all the great players that you have that have contributed. Who's the one guy that kind of like is an unsung hero on the team?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, Jacob is definitely a unsung hero, but he is one of those guys because of Carbo and AJ's here. And Jacob sometimes gets maybe just not talked about as much. He's a great running back. I mean, he's definitely one of the better running backs I've had in this program. I mean, in my time here, 1,200 yards already in 8 games, I think 16 touchdowns. So, I mean, he's really putting up some huge numbers. But probably if I was to really pinpoint a kid, probably one of those guys. He's a defensive lineman for us, but he also plays our wing position, kind of our fullback as well. Mm-hmm. And he's just that tough-nosed throwback player that he just likes to hit people. I mean, he's just he is that old school, wants to just knock you down every play sort of guy. And the kids really kind of feed off of him, and he brings a lot of the energy to the team. So that would definitely be a kid I think that's kind of doesn't get recognized as much, but he's a huge part of this team.
And you need those guys, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's, like I said, I mean, he's a throwback. He could play in the 80s. He probably was more meant for the 80s. He's had a couple blindside hits and things like that we've had to get on him about that you can't really do anymore. But he just is a kid that loves the physical play.
Before we start talking the other side with Sycamore, you're no stranger to the postseason. What is your playoff pairing night tradition? What do you guys do?
So we get together. There's a building kind of south of town where we have our team dinners at. It's in the basement, and it's kind of a banquet room sort of thing. And we have our team dinner. I actually was just there not too long ago tonight. And then we'll get together with all the parents, the players, watch the pairing show, and just kind of relax and eat a lot of food and just kind of enjoy the night. And then once we figure out who we're playing, the staff, we'll meet back at the school, kind of start figuring out what film we want and start the process. So then we'll film, obviously, our breakdowns and things like that. And then Sunday we'll bring the kids in and watch film. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun until the team gets announced. And then, honestly, we break out of there and we get to work pretty quick.
Yeah, we'll, like I said, we're looking forward. We'll definitely reach out to you Saturday night as soon as you find out who you're playing. And we'll get into it. We'll break it down a little bit. Once again, on the fence. Welcome back.
Yes.
It was one of those things. I think when we talked a few weeks ago, I said it was kind of the first week I started looking, and it's no different every single year. We're always that bubble team. I'm kind of leaning more towards 5, but we'll worry about that. I'll have all day Saturday to break that down and look. But yeah, we've learned over the years we're always a bubble, probably 95% 5A, and then every once in a while we'll drop into 4. So, either way, whatever direction we go, we know that we're a good team, but we know there's also good teams in both classes. So, it's going to be a battle either way, but, obviously our focus right now is on the Sycamore game.
Yeah. Speaking of Sycamore, I'd love to get your thoughts on Burke Goucher, the quarterback and safety, a junior, just recently committed to Iowa. I saw him early in the year when they played Simeon coach, and he's just a tremendous athlete.
Yeah, he draws your attention pretty quick. He's very athletic, good runner, but he has a strong arm. He can throw the ball. They do a good job of getting the ball in his hands. Obviously, he's a quarterback, but designing runs for him, and then obviously the pass plays that they have in their offense as well for him. But I think he's really impressive on defense. I think that's probably what I was looking at him more.
Yeah, they did recruit him as a safety.
He's an impressive player. He has great closing speed, and he's just a good athlete. So I mean, he's been on our radar all week for sure. We've got a few things. Obviously, we're gonna try to plan for him, but he's a very good athlete. That's for sure.
I know it's kind of cliche, but when I saw the Sycamore team and watched them play, I just thought they were kind of a grinded out kind of team. Nothing.
And like we mentioned before, Coach Ryan's going to have them ready to go. They always play hard. And knowing that the conference title's on the line, seeding is on the line, all those things going into this, we're not expecting this to be some sort of sleeper trap game. We know that we're going to get their best, and they're going to get our best for sure.
A game you almost want to play in week 9 to get you ready for the playoffs.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love the timing of this. We've been pretty fortunate where this has kind of been the week 9 game for a while. So yeah, it's exactly how you want to build up the regular season into the conference championship. And then obviously it just, like you said, it gets you ready for the playoffs. It's going to be a playoff atmosphere, huge crowd. And, it's that build up you want. And then, like I said, hopefully we can roll this over into a long playoff run.
The last question I have, Alan, health-wise, how's the team doing?
Good. Other than the last time we talked, and I said this, we did have one injury in the Woodstock game. One of our receivers, Brett Bounds, ended up breaking his arm. It was kind of a freak injury. He muffed a punt and took a helmet off of his upper arm. And it's a tough loss. He was a good player for us. And you hate to lose, any player on your team. But fortunately, that's a position we do feel like we were pretty deep at. And so as much as the loss of Brett hurts, I think we've got some other guys that have stepped in as well. But besides that, actually, we're, again, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx it, but we're really healthy right now.
Very good.
All right, pal. Always good to talk to you. We will reach out to you Saturday night once your bracket is released. And again, just wish you the best of luck tomorrow night.
Yes. Good luck, Alan.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you on Saturday, too.
All right. Alan Thorson from Morris joining us, Joe. And yeah, that's a monster game. It's big in obviously for a conference championship, but even from a seeding standpoint and everything else, it's a big one for sure. And that, as he mentioned, there's going to be quite a crowd there.
Yes. I think no matter where the Morris Football Club goes, 4 or 5A, they're going to be a handful.
Yeah.
They are going to be a handful.
No doubt about it. So again, appreciate Alan joining us. And again, he'll be with us Saturday night for the playoff pairing show. That will begin here at 7:30. We will go on the air at 7:30. Brackets are, well, IHSA TV will play around with it a little bit and start putting them out a little after 8 o'clock. And then as soon as they're released, we will hop on it. And as soon as any of the brackets involving our coaches, we'll get on the phones and start dialing. Now, I guarantee you we're going to have about 5 or 6 in 8A. We're going to have a couple in every class pretty much from what I remember. So obviously it's going to take us a little while to get through to them all, but Joe, we'll do our darndest to get a hold of everybody.
Sure will.
And your calls will be featured. Your DMs will be streaming live video on YouTube, so you can watch along if you want. By the way, we had a little technical blip. We had the Wi-Fi went out for just a second here, so if your screen went blank and pop back on, that was not you, that was us. So we'll hopefully get that straight. Now, Joe, work on that, will you? You're our technician here. You're our engineer, so get that straightened out.
Where does this plug in at?
Yeah. Yeah, not much better. So, all right. Real quick before we go up against a break, and as I mentioned, when we come back, the Sooths cometh. Yep. He will join us in 7:25. 4 teams in the area, Joe, at 4-4. Pravi, Lamont, who's again last time we saw they were losing to TF North.
Yes.
Plainfield Central at Joliet West. Plainfield North at Yorkville. Who gets in, Joe?
Boy, oh boy. The way
you got to exclude Lamont for now because the game's ongoing. So
just Providence right now.
Yeah. Plainfield North can make it very interesting against Yorkville.
They could.
I definitely can see that happening. So that would be 12, 13,
11, 12, 13.
I think I went with 13 last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw Providence and either Lamont or Plainfield North getting in.
Right.
So that would be good. That wouldn't be a record. A record was 16 a couple years ago. We came close, though. We really did. So we'll see how that shakes out. All right, we're going to step aside, take a break. When we come back, the Seuss joins us, Steve Soucy from Friday Night Drive. We'll talk all about his projections and his money-back guarantee and all that good stuff. So don't go away. This is the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports.
Time for maintenance on my furnace. Gotta find the best price.
Well, price is important, but not at the expense of quality. You need the best, most professional service, too. You don't want to be without heat in the middle of winter.
All right, so who do you trust?
Well, I've been using Roscope's Heating and Cooling for years. They're always so professional with my heating maintenance, and Roscope's goes above and beyond and will check all the gas-fired appliances in our house for safety, not just the furnace.
Like my stove or clothes dryer or water heater, too?
Yep, Roscope's checks all of the above, and of course, thoroughly cleans our heating system. They'll make sure it's all safe and ready to go, and my winters are stress-free. For my furnace, anyway. I already called them this year, and you'll appreciate this. They're honoring last year's pricing.
That alone is reason enough to call.
Well, true, but remember, it's about more than price.
I get it. I'm calling Roscope's Heating and Cooling today.
Or go online, ROUSCULPS.com. That's ROUSCULPS.com.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704.
Hi, I'm Christy Lister from M&M Mortgage, division of M&M Bank. M&M Mortgage services Joliet and the surrounding communities as your big bank alternative. Our friendly staff is ready to serve you at our 4 local branches for all your banking needs, especially mortgage services. If you're considering purchasing a new home, need a home equity line of credit, or want to refinance, your head may be spinning right now. Let the M&M Mortgage team guide you through their worry-free lending process. Block out the noise and have a conversation with our experienced team. We'll help you navigate this time of uncertainty with confidence. Our M&M Mortgage team is here to help you with any questions you have about borrowing for a purchase or a refinance. Call me, Christy Lister, to discuss your worry-free lending with M&M Mortgage, as well as our low down payment programs for home buyers. Call me, Christy Lister, at 815-955-9970 to find out more. That's 815-955-9970. Christy Lister, NMLS 1117253. M&M Mortgage, a division of M&M Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Will County Seniors, a nonprofit organization serving senior citizens and their families, has provided resources and programming to senior citizens in the county since 1966. Through a variety of activities and support services, Will County Seniors helps adults over 55 maintain their independent, active lifestyle. As our community has grown over the decades, so have our services to the families of seniors. The next phase of Will County Seniors will be the opening of the Ovation Center in Romeoville. The over 100,000 square foot Ovation Center will serve as a gathering place for seniors and a place where seniors and their families can go for valuable services. Leasing offices within the Ovation Center provide an ideal opportunity for businesses or service organizations that work with seniors and their families, such as medical offices or massage therapy, or professional services including legal, financial, and insurance services. For more information about leasing space for your growing business in the Ovation Center, visit theovationcenter.org. That's theovationcenter.org.
Pigskin Preview with EDGYTIM on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is the weeknight edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM here along with the coach, Joe Rodegaro and Phil Cantu, spinning the dials. Want to thank our sponsors, State Farm agents, Kevin Malloy and John Wright. No player of the week this week, Joe.
No player of the week.
Maybe if you guys tried a little harder out there, we might be able to find one next week. But we'll see. But again, appreciate everybody watching and listening. And Joe, it's time.
It is.
It's his moment. It's Zeus-tober.
We
go out to the phone lines.
He's got his wizard hat on right now.
He has I would pay money to see him in a wizard hat, quite honestly. Steve Susi from Friday Night Drive joins us, and glad to bring him in. Seuss, welcome aboard.
Hello, fellas. I'm actually a little surprised that you didn't have access to an old wizard hat photo that actually does exist.
Oh, I know.
One of my former employees made me do that, and the expression on my face
I have it.
shows how much I enjoyed having that particular photo taken.
About as much as the expression on your face for the new one. So
yeah,
Seuss,
I'm not a big fan of photos.
Yeah, well, yeah. What we all have faces for radio. Why do you think we're behind the dial here?
Yep.
So we want to clarify. So there is no money back guarantee if you're wrong on your projections, right? Because I was told if you had any issues or complaints, just contact Kyle Neighbors at Kyle Neighbors, Nabors on Twitter, and Kyle can resolve those for you. No, that's not the case.
I don't think so, because if it is that type of a situation based on all the factors that would be involved in that, I probably would be unemployed.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just joking. Now I have a job.
I'm just joking, Shaw Media. You can breathe now. It's fine. But all kidding aside, Seuss, again, tremendous work on your part. But you and I have been talking a bit, and I'm just going to give you my feelings going into this right now. You ready?
Sure.
You are on the verge of utter chaos. Those are my thoughts. I said you are on the verge of utter chaos.
Yeah, it really is. It's just one of those situations where you have so many factors that go into week 9. And every year I say this, and I don't think people fully understand it. There's just one or two little things that can throw this whole thing out of whack. And we always get those one or two things. They always happen.
Yeah, it's the kind of year, and I think, and I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to talk about this when the brackets come out Saturday, where, I mean, there's some unbelievable stories of teams that have just completely turned their lives around. We got a couple right here in the Will County area. You got Joliet West and Lincoln Way Central. There's a lot of stories like that out there this year, Seuss. I think the scary part about that is you got a lot of those teams that are going to get first round playoff games, and I don't know how many are going to survive the first round.
Yeah, it's one of those where you look at the year as a grand overview and you have 0-win teams.
Yep.
That's the normal group, but it feels like this year there's a lot more teams in that 2 to 4 loss area.
Yep.
And it's just that middle group is so hard to decipher who is going to separate themselves from one another. So you're going to have a lot of first round matchups where you're just going to go, ooh, that's a first round game. I mean, because of the clustering of the teams of the losses.
Yeah, and the only thing consistent about that this year has been the inconsistency every week.
Yeah. I can't argue with that at all. It's been so crazy to look at this, and heading into the week, we had, roughly 30 games involving 4-4 teams that were playing teams with better records, and another 30 of teams that were playing teams with lesser records. And usually you get a clear cut. Most of the teams that are playing lesser records win those games. Most of the teams that are playing teams with better records lose them. I am nowhere near confident of that happening this year. I feel like there's 6 or 8 or maybe 10 games on that list of teams where they're playing a team with a better record where they can win the game. And then what will ultimately end up happening is I'll be completely wrong and it'll go the other way.
Sue, one of those teams that I saw last week, and Edgy and I talked about this, where I think last Friday night there's teams that weren't supposed to win one, and so the 4-4 teams that if you're 4-5, those 4-5 teams with points, is that still a possibility, or if you go 4-5, are you going to be out of the playoffs?
Well, I think right now is what's going to happen, similar to what happened last year. When you were heading into week 9, I had it projected for 4 or 5 teams that could potentially make it. We ended up with 1. So I think we're looking at possibly another situation like that where we're heading into the week. I think there could be as many as 4 or 5.
Okay.
But then we'll have these upset teams crop up and take away the majority of them, if not all of them.
Okay.
As far as this area is concerned, I mean, you got to look at Lincoln Way East. Obviously, they're one of the powers. I think one of the few powers out there that can really make a run. But who's your sleeper in this area? Is there a team out there that might surprise a little bit?
It's hard to peg an exact sleeper because of the same reasons that we were talking about before.
Yeah, no doubt.
We have so many teams that are, in that 2 to 3 loss hopper, but they're quality losses, and it's trying to decipher it all makes it difficult. I kind of like Lincoln Way Central. I don't know if you can call that a sleeper when they could potentially go 8-1.
Right.
I just think they're an interesting team in a playoff type of environment. You can run the football effectively, a good defensive team, and an ability to kind of throw things at you that maybe the opposition isn't real familiar with doing. So the combination of those things, I kind of like what Lincoln Way Central could be in the 7A playoff game.
Yeah, we saw that early in the year, Joe and I. We did that game, and I thought what stood out to me, Joe and Steve, was defensively what Central was able to do.
Yeah.
They play some pretty good defense.
Yes, they do. And their punter, in my opinion, was very, and I'm sure he's done it all year. Most punters in high school, Steve, as you know, just kick it right down, kick it straight.
Right down Broadway.
Yeah, this guy directional kicks. And he did a great job at Illinois State against O'Fallon. I'm sure he's done that most of the year. So that's another key thing, to get a team deep into their own territory and let your defense take over.
Yeah, it's a factor that you definitely have to consider about a team like that. We've seen it with another Lincoln Way East program, having great special teams, the difference that it can make for you deeper in the playoffs. And not surprisingly, Lincoln Way Central, which, is pretty upfront about taking a lot of their model from Lincoln Way East, is taking that piece as well, apparently.
As far as the powers are concerned, of course, Loyola, Mount Carmel, Lincoln Way East. We'll throw East St. Louis in there. There's a few others. Concerned about them at all? Are there a couple of those that you've thought about and said, it's been such a weird year? Are they not maybe as strong as you think, or haven't had that thought?
In some ways you can see that, but I was thinking about 2 of these in particular. Loyola and Mount Carmel have both just kind of went through the schedule not really feeling like they've been pushed very much.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. I'm fascinated to see Saturday's game between the 2, because it's the first time we kind of get to see them lock horns. But how many times have we been in the fourth quarter of their games and their outcome has been in doubt.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Well, I saw one of them this year, and it's so funny because Loyola.
Yeah.
You have Loyola ranked 2. O'Brien's got Loyola ranked 2. I've got them 3. Well,
Yeah.
the one week I saw them, and again, obviously timing's everything when it comes to this. I saw them when they beat Naperville North, and
Yeah.
you know, I just wasn't overly blown away. And again, it was a younger Loyola team, and it was week 2. So I mean, you take that into consideration. But then,
yeah, and you just feel like there's a switch flipping that's going on with them right now.
Yep, and
You know,
they
they're
just
doing
get
it now.
better.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
it's definitely one of those things where you have to look at what happens on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's interesting because what happens in that Loyola Mount Carmel game kind of affects seeding. If Loyola wins it, they go to the top of the board in 8A. Lincoln Way East is on the other side of the bracket. My concern all along was that we might end up with them on the same side. And I kind of feel like those two are the class in 8A. So I would really prefer that if they are going to match up, it would be for the title.
You mentioned in your breakdown this past week how absolutely amazing the bubble watch has been this year, and I agree. It's been interesting to watch and continues to be interesting going into week 9.
Well, a couple of teams that this has affected in the area in general, you know, I think Wilmington can be effective in 2 or 3A, but I think they're an absolute terror in 2A.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
So if they can find their way back to the 2A field, they're currently sitting as the smallest school in 3A. I think that's a great thing for them. If they don't, I look forward to the Byron Wilmington game at some point because I'm fascinated to see what happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you go to 4A, 5A bubble with Morris. I know you were talking with Coach Thorson a little bit about this before, and all season long it had been trending towards 4, and then last week happened, and now they're back somewhat firmly in 5. They can get back to 4, but right now, if you put me on the spot and said what class are they going to be on Saturday night, I would say 5A.
Well, again, it's never dull. It's always interesting. What do you do on pairing night, by the way?
We're actually, you know, since the whole thing with the IHSA, you know, we're not doing it this year.
Yeah.
You know, I guess they couldn't come through with the crown and throne that you requested for the broadcast. That was the issue.
It's always me, Seuss. I always take the fall.
It's all Edgy's fault.
As you should, sir. But we're actually going to take that time before the pairings come out, the pairings show. We're going to be doing a little streaming broadcast for an hour.
Good.
Myself and the aforementioned Kyle Neighbors. You know, we're going to do a little bit of a live stream talk with some people that pop in and talk about the pre-show for the pairings, and then we'll let the pairings take over, and then the madness begins.
Yeah, for sure. All right, my friend. Always great to talk to you. We'll definitely stay in touch and have fun pairing night. You going anywhere? You going to Loyola Saturday or no?
I haven't decided yet.
Oh,
I'm
it's
going to
such
look
a night.
and see how,
It's such
how
a nightmare.
Friday night messes me up.
It's such a nightmare up there.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I heard they're apparently hosting something else too. So
Yes.
a parking situation that is already bad gets even worse. So maybe I'll decide to take a 3-mile run before getting to the actual game.
Yeah. That's why God created TV. So I think
That's
I'll watch
right.
TV.
That's where I'll be in my bunker.
All right, my friend. Have fun.
All right,
We'll
Seuss.
talk to you soon. And thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Seuss.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Steve Susie joining us. And again, if you listen to the show, you don't need us to tell you.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
no one puts more into it than that guy, and he has for a long, long time. And just glad to call him my friend. So
yes.
All right. What are you looking forward to seeing pairing night? Who's pairing you want to see here?
As Seuss talked about, I'm interested to see where Wilmington lands.
Yeah.
And I was really, who knows about Morris? I just think Morris, as I said before, will be a handful.
I just think they're good, no matter where they're at.
No matter where they're at. I think the path, I would say, of a Lincoln Way Central.
Yeah.
especially if they go 8-1.
Yeah. But again, they're going to
Joliet.
be in 7. So
Joliet West is 8A, correct? Or 7A?
Joliet West is 8A. Lincoln Way East is 8A.
Okay.
I'll have to go through it. I don't have it in front of me, but
Okay.
I know the Lincoln Ways are kind of borderline all the time. So, it sounds like second half started. It's still 12-6 from what I can tell for now. TF North over Lamont. Again, we'll be watching that. Hopefully we'll have another score or 2 update before we wrap up at 8:00. So again, Lamont playing for their playoff lives right now.
Yes, they are.
At TF North, playing on a grass field that goes east-west.
Yes.
How many of those have you seen before?
Just Providence. So that's about it.
And TF North.
TF North.
The only other ones I'm aware of. So,
yep.
But again, we'll give you an update when we get that. Again, looking forward to a playoff pairing night. So again, we will be here Saturday night, 7:30. We'll start the broadcast, and we will have a collection of knuckleheads, a collection of guests, special guests. We'll be here, like I said, man, start at 7:30. We'll go to about 10 o'clock, if not a little bit later. Phil, you got nothing else to do. What, are you going to go home and watch the kids and help your wife? Nah, stay here. I'll sign a note for you, whatever you need.
We'll get you a jail-free card.
Yeah, we'll take care of that for you. So again, make all plans to join us. We'll be here Saturday night starting at 7:30. You can watch us on YouTube. We'll have the stream going. Dewey will be in here with us. And we'll have a lot of fun, and we'll have a good time with you guys breaking down the bracket. Yes. So again, we're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back out to the phone lines, Tyler Plants will join us from Providence Catholic. Huge game on the Emerald Isle tomorrow night. We'll talk about it next. This is the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
They're back.
What? Caramel apples are back at Dan's Homemade Candies?
They are indeed.
You mean that mouth-watering, sweet, delicious, hand-dipped fresh caramel apple from Dan's Homemade Candies? They're there? Like right now?
Yep, all the varieties of caramel apples that start with a crisp, juicy, farm fresh apple dipped in Dan's smooth, creamy homemade caramel made fresh daily right there in the store.
Let's go! Should I get the original caramel, chocolate covered, or with nuts, or both?
I'm going for the dark chocolate in the biggest, fattest caramel dripping apple you've ever seen.
Dan's Homemade Candies, here we come.
Dan's Homemade Candies are only here for a limited time at 1003 Plainfield Road in Joliet and in downtown Joliet at 229 East Cass Street. Online at danshomemadecandies.com.
And paid for by Linear Marketing Group. Are you drowning in debt? Are you struggling to make minimum payments? Did you know that on average, a household with at least one credit card struggles with over $17,000 in credit card debt? If this sounds like you, know that it's not your fault. Credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates and low minimum payments. Before you know it, you're in over your head. We've helped thousands of good people just like you become debt-free with our Debt Reset program that will dramatically reduce your debt down to a fraction of what you owe. Our Debt Reset program is customized to get you debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months with one low monthly payment. If you owe over $10,000 in credit card debt or even personal loans, call 800-621-3640 now. There are no upfront fees or out-of-pocket expenses. You don't pay a dime until we succeed. Call now to see how the Debt Reset program can work for you. 800-621-3640. That's 800-621-3640. Again, 800-621-3640.
At Jiffy Lube, we believe every aging adult deserves to be seen, heard, and cared for. That's why we're proud to partner with Meals on Wheels to ensure that no aging adult goes without a nutritious meal and the human connection they need to live a fulfilling life. Join us in making a difference in the lives of our aging neighbors by donating at your local Jiffy Lube service center throughout the month of October. 100% of funds raised support Meals on Wheels programs in your local community. For a list of Jiffy Lube locations, visit ChicagolandJiffyLube.com. Jiffy Lube, drive to do more.
Hey, Scott Slocum here. Have you heard? We're bringing back our radio stage production of It's a Wonderful Life at the magnificent Rialto Square Theater. Think 1940s live radio stage production. Sound effects on stage, scripts falling, tons of fun as we retell this classic story with George, Mary, Mr. Potter, that's me, Clarence, and lots of crowd participation. That means you. All proceeds go right back to the Rialto Square Theater. Come have fun with us on Friday, December 8th. Tickets at Ticketmaster or in person at the Rialto box office.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL. Will County's News Talk Sports, EDGYTIM, along with the coach Joe Rodriguero and Phil Cantu spinning the dials. Joe?
Yes, sir.
Huge ball game tomorrow night out on the Emerald Isle. We are going to bring in the head coach of your Providence Catholic Celtics, Tyler Plants. Tyler, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening to you guys too, and thanks a lot for having us.
Well, it's pretty simple. It's playoff time, and you're getting a little head start on it tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. It's week 0 this week.
Yeah, yes. Tyler, I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I want to go back 2 weeks ago because you didn't see me up in the booth when we were doing your game, but I want to know the explanation from the referee, which the play to me turned the whole game around. The holding call on the punt.
I've never seen anything like it.
Joe's still talking about it.
You should have heard me on the radio. I kept saying
there was just a couple of plays that game where it was just like, they really like picking on a young guy, I swear. But when we went up and I kind of asked them, I'm like, so what's the thought process here? And again, the referees have tough jobs, so I don't like talking on the phone here. But he said that it was a passing play. And I was kind of like, well, that looks like it's a punt formation if you step back at 8 yards. And at no point do we teach holding, or can you hold somebody to the ground within a half a second of the play? That was like a pure bench press to the ground, like testament to Luke Leverrett's offseason. And you watch it on tape. There's no, like, he's right inside of the chest, and he ejects him. Like, it was awesome.
I said on the radio, their punter was not in the conventional, because he was a quarterback, conventional punt formation. And when I saw their first punt of the game, I made the comment on the radio, I said, proud to go to get one. And I know you had the roughing the kicker penalty, which hurt too, but you almost blocked a couple. And I said on the radio, I said, that punt took 1.5 seconds to get off. I go, how can you have a holding call in that situation? But I guess
I think it's a punt formation at that. But either way, that's a smart move by coach. Like, it was an awesome play. Like, being able to dial that up and to kind of put it into the referee's hands.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like a beautiful high school play. So,
oh boy.
I mean, these are some things that I like writing down.
Oh yes, for sure. You'll see a lot more stuff too as you go on.
It's absolutely correct.
Some absolute beauties up to this point.
It is only your second year. Just wait.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know if you guys watched the St. Rita game from last year. That was a beauty too.
Yeah. Yep. Well, you're on the Emerald Isle tomorrow night. You're at home. Big crowd, obviously. Everybody's going to get after it. How has practice been this week? How are the kids responding? And do you, I guess there's no other way to sell it, but this is a playoff game, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's seniors. If you guys want to win, or you're done playing football. They are continuing to understand really the standard and the fundamentals and what it takes to be successful. And it's always hard when you play a schedule like ours where there's no week to flinch, or there's no week to have an injury, or no week to not be 100%. So the beautiful part is, again, you feel like you've been in playoff pressure for really the last 8 weeks. So these guys aren't batting an eye. All they've been doing this week is really stepping up to the occasion, in my mind.
Tyler, you guys have played an unbelievable schedule, and your points at 48. And when I watch you guys, and I've done a couple games so far this year, if you get, in my eyes, this is just some old guy just talking on the radio. If you guys stay away from turnovers and penalties, I don't see you guys losing tomorrow night. I really don't.
Well, I hope you're right, and I hope we can stay away from both.
Yeah.
Just stay away from them.
No doubt about it. You know, it's funny, Tyler, you mentioned, I know you and I have talked about this before. It's been, we talk about the realignment in the ESCCCCL, that you're one of more than a handful of schools that are kind of in the same situation where, I didn't know if it was possible, but your schedule got even tougher this year. I mean, teams that generally would be in a different tier, I look at a program like DePaul Prep. Look what DePaul Prep's done. And, and Fenwick fighting at 4-4 to get in. And that's a good team. And you guys are a good team. And, if anything comes out of this, it's, and we talked about this earlier tonight with Susie and said, look, I mean, there are going to be a lot of 5-4 and 6-3s that are going to be very, very capable of making noise. And I think you and your kids have to believe that, because I think it's absolutely true.
Yeah, we believe it every week. I mean, the biggest thing has been we have a lot of guys that returned from last year and have seen it. But again, it's a completely different group. And then also a lot of guys jumping into leadership positions. It's almost like you're a role player for this many years, and now you're almost starting from year zero in the sense of, okay, now we need to lean on you from a game-to-game basis. So those leaders and those upperclassmen are starting to understand that role. And then through injuries and stuff, we've also had to dip into some younger kids who are learning the offense, learning the defense, learning special teams, and they're starting to come into their own too. So I'm glad that it has taken 8 weeks last year. Hopefully it takes 8 weeks again this year to figure it all out. But, I'm pretty excited about where this team's headed and how they're working right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What can we expect out of Bennett Academy tomorrow night? Kind of what do the Red Wings do that give you a little concern?
Oh, they're a good team. I mean, offensively, they do a lot of things. Really good coordinator. Actually spent time with Mike Uremovich at Temple and NIU, I believe.
Yep.
So he does a lot of good things on offense. They got a nice quarterback who can move around and some skilled players. And defensively, they do a good job too. They got some guys that can fly around to the football in front that does a really good job, and in the back half and gets the job done too. So it's really going to take all 22 of us and coming after every play. So we're excited for the matchup tomorrow night.
No doubt about it. Well, I tell you what, that is the game of the week. You can hear that tomorrow night right here on 1340 WJOL, WJOL.com, also WJOL on the Odyssey app. And by all means, give that game a listen. If you can't make it in person, by all means, turn out tomorrow night out at the Emerald Isle. Tyler, like it or not, you're going to hear from us Saturday when you get into the playoffs, and we're going to call you and talk about your draw, okay? So I'm 100% counting on that Saturday.
Perfect. That's what we need. Just believe. Believe. That's all we need. You believe we will. We'll get it done. No
we're on
penalties,
board.
No turnovers. All right. We're talking on Saturday.
Yes,
we're
sure.
On board. Go out and get one tomorrow night. We'll talk to you Saturday.
I'll see you tomorrow night, Tyler. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Tyler Plant's joining us, Providence Catholic. Joe, you just got to go get one more.
Yes. And if they can stay away from turnovers and penalties, they've got a great chance to win. That's the two games I saw with them. That was their big bugaboo.
Is there a mindset difference? They're 5-3. They know they're playing next week. Meaning Bennett.
I don't think so. Simply because of it depends.
It's Providence.
But again, it depends upon how injured they are.
Yeah. That's everything.
And again, the 5-4s are going to wind up, no matter where you're at, going to play an 8-1 or 8-0, 7-1 or 8-0 team.
Yep.
So you want to really win the game, so you get a better draw in the middle someplace, rather being against somebody at the top end of the bracket.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure, and a great game for week
now,
7.
Bennett would
or
be
week 9.
Bennett would be what, 7A?
Bennett would be, I think, 7 or 6. I'd have to look.
Okay. I don't know for sure.
So again, reminding you the broadcast schedule tomorrow night, 6:05, Friday Night Lights. Scott Slocum here, running the pregame show. 7:30, Nick Jacobs and Joe Rodriguero on the call from the Emerald Isle, Providence. hosting Bennett Academy. Bennett, they're in at 5-3. They'll be in the playoffs. Providence at 4-4. Joe, they need a win. They need to get in.
Yes, they do.
Simple as that. Joe, after 3 quarters, the Mighty Meteors 12, Lamont 6. End of the third.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of scoring going out in Cal City tonight, Joe.
No, I wonder if it's raining out there.
Well, it's a grass field.
Right. And
Could be a
rained
mud
quite
game.
bit. Yep.
Could be a mud game.
bowl.
Very much a mud game. So again, appreciate Matt now keeps giving us updates out there as well. I know there are a few other games we've been trying to update you on as well. So again, got to remind everybody, we will be here Saturday night. The WJOL Playoff Pairing Show is back. Myself, Coach Joe, Dewey, Phil. You never know who will roam through the studio. We'll talk to every area coach. Once their playoff draw has been released, we'll get their reaction. We'll find out who they're playing. Joe, we'll definitely give the fans our thoughts on the draws and what brackets are strong and what brackets are not good and all that fun stuff. To me, it's always one of the best nights of the year.
Yes, it is.
No doubt about it.
Sure is.
So what are you bringing? What are you bringing in? We're going to do a little potluck, I guess. We're all going to bring something in.
I'm bringing brownies.
Phil's bringing himself.
Phil bring himself.
Phil's bringing himself.
But he's on a run, though. He's got to go run. He's got.
You got a big job, actually.
You
got a big job Saturday. We're going to remind you of that job Saturday. No pressure, man.
No.
Okay? Just our food depends on it. Okay.
Bennett is
Good.
5A, according to Steve Susi.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Good thing Steve doesn't have a life, huh? Jeez, just like us.
How about it?
Unbelievable. So again, it looks like, what do we say? 14?
13.
13. It looks like 13 probably you'll get in. There's a couple obviously 4-4s that could kind of go either way. Plainfield Central 4-4 taking on Joliet West.
Because Plainfield Central, Plainfield North, and Joliet West are all tied for first.
Yep.
So if Plainfield Central beats Joliet West, they're in also.
Who's the coach of the year in the area?
I know we've got the great story with Joliet West, but I'm still going to stick with Dave Woodburn at Lincoln Way Central.
Yeah. The drastic change this quick.
Yes.
Is a big part of that story for sure. I'm still up in the air, honestly.
I know you are.
I really am. Do we have an obvious player of the year candidate here?
Offense or defense?
I'll take either one at this point.
I think defensively, there's probably, in my opinion, defensively, there's 3 candidates. The guy, the Garcia defensive end from Minooka.
Okay.
The Johnson kid from Joliet Catholic.
Yep.
And I think the Aurora kid from Lincoln Way East.
3 pretty good ones.
All defensive line.
3 pretty good ones. Offensively, I think Braden Tischer's got to be for Lincoln Way East a quarterback. I mean, he's just consistently good all year.
And he's played all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a key to keeping your health.
You've got him. You know, are we including Morris in this? You got to have Carter Button. If you're talking Morris, Carter's had a huge year this year. Put up big time numbers.
Yes.
If it's a 9-week award, Jonas Williams.
Yes.
Put up amazing numbers.
Even though they're not making a play, he's just a pure passer.
God, I'm trying to think going down the line. Joliet West, Rico, maybe. We'll have to look at Rico's numbers a little bit. He missed a week or 2.
Oh, there's another man. I can't think of the young man's name now. He plays running back sometimes. Plays wide receiver.
Is it Campagna, Lincoln Way West, the running back?
The kid from Lincoln Way West. No, the guy, the kid from
Lincoln Way Central.
God, I can't think of the kid's name, and it's my fault. I should know it because he was my player of the game. Oh, hold on.
Check those notes, Joe. Oh, don't worry about it. The only one listening now is Seuss. We're fine.
The player of the game was the defensive back.
Did you hear what I said? The only one listening now is Seuss. Anyway, so we're okay. All right. Well, I think that's going to about do it. Phil, what do you think? About it? All right, we're going to wrap up. Reminder, come back
Yes,
Saturday night,
please.
7:30. I'll be putting it out all the next 48 hours on social media. Love to have you on board. We will be here. We will have the playoff pairings. We'll have reaction from the coaches, our thoughts, our reactions, lots of fun stuff Saturday night starting at 7:30 right here on 1340 WJOL and also live on YouTube. For the coach, Joe Rodriguez, I'm EDGYTIM. Also for Phil Cantu, thanks for listening. This has been the Week 9 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.